So hi guys, welcome to another video where this time I won't actually be showing one of my cars. It's one of my mate's cars, and the car in question is a budget build, and when I mean budget build, it is budget. Like, so far it's been a sub £1,000 build. So here's the car in question, Mk7 1.6 TDCi. The car cost 400 quid because it was a crash repair, so the car doesn't owe a lot in the first place. Kieran wasn't going to do a lot to it initially, but a little bit of peer pressure went a long way apparently, because the car is now fitted with a TDO4 19T mounted very nicely onto the stock manifold, with some custom intake and boost piping, again done very nicely, as the whole build is, with a custom oil catch can with some precision holes for venting using a PD 130 heater matrix pipe, definitely not leaking. And down the front we've got a stock Megane 225 intercooler, because that's just all we had lying around and sort of fits to a certain extent, with the bumper not really held on. And coming up into the boost piping, we have the meth injector fitted into the boost piping, done very nicely as well with silicone just to make sure it seals. Make sure those boost leaks don't happen, with the dozer just kettle tied out of the way. And here's a size comparison between the stock turbo and the TDO4 19T. The TDO4 isn't really classed as a big turbo, but considering the engine that it's on and the size of the stock turbo, surely got to be classed as a big turbo now. We're not actually sure how it's going to spool, but at the moment it's making about 14 psi at 4,000 RPM. So we'll see how it does when we actually get it on the dyno and turn the meth on. And the real finishing touch with this turbo setup has to be the downpipe. Professionally pie cut and MIG welded to professional standards. Some would say Scotland's best welder. And for the most expensive part on the car, including the car itself, is a nice V3 AEM water methanol kit. Actually pretty nicely mounted in the boot, to be fair. Some spare meth. Just the 500cc in at the moment, just to get our eye in. But we shall mess around with that when we're on the dyno tomorrow at Wayside. Get it properly dialed in and see what power gains we get between the 500cc and 1000cc if we need it. And the finishing touch to the whole car has to be the straight through pipe, with a little bit of up tip on the end, made of just random offcuts of exhaust that we had. A bit of VXR Miltech exhaust, a bit of this, bit of that. But considering it is only a 1.6 TDCi, it does sound pretty good. Budget build, see how much we can get out of this small engine for such a small amount of money.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.
Said time again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Oh my.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision and the soul. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey,
cause there's cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I know what you mean. It's all funny to the fleet, I get 50 to my G. Hey.
Wayside. The Fiesta's on the dyno, strapped down. Got the boost reference in, a little boost gauge T-piece, so finding out how much boost it's running. And yeah, see how much she makes. Brake, considering it's on the previous stock turbo mat. It's pretty surprising, so we'll just siphon the water out of this meth tank. Just wiring in the old meth pump. Get some meth in it, turn it on, we'll go from there. Also forgot to say that it is actually still running gate pressure. It is a 14 psi spring that's in it, so just a little bit over. Making a bar of boost at around 4,100 RPM, so it is a big turbo on a small engine, so it's to be expected, but still good power. So meth tank's now filled up, lines have been primed, so they're full of meth instead of just water. Boost references sort of plumbed in, but you know, budget build and that, so all the way across the car into the very nice boost controller, which is actually quite a nice placement to be fair, pretty impressed. Pretty impressive. At the moment it's 164 brake with over 180 foot-pounds of torque. Playing about with the meth a little bit. It's only got the 500cc injector in it now, so we're going to swap about, put 1000cc in it and see how it reacts. So not only did we just pick up peak horsepower and torque just from turning the meth on, we actually did pick up quite a bit of boost top end. So that's 0.2 bar we picked up purely just based on turning the meth on, which is just down to the engine being happier because it's not as lean and it can rev out more, make more boost, make more power. So this is proof diesels love meth. So I said, put in the 1000cc injector in now. This is the meth injector, what it looks like all split out. So this is the one that we've currently got at the moment, which is the 500cc one. Seems to have done pretty well so far, so we just want to see what it looks like with the 1000cc nozzle, which is the one with the most aggressive tips or design on the front, with the flat bit at the bottom, and this other one is just a 250cc one, which we might as well just fucking throw away. So we get swapped, get it fitted. So we're back on the Fiesta after some lunch. Kieran's just put the 500cc meth injector back in it because wasn't really picking any power up, and did start getting a bit hairy at the top end. It was either sounded a bit like valve float, so either the valve springs aren't up to the job or it's just hydrolocking on all the methanol that's in there, which is understandable. So back on the 500cc injector and we'll see what the final horsepower is. we finished on the dyno now. The final figure was 178 brake with about 190, 195 foot-pounds of torque, peak torque. So pretty impressive. This was only added meth. There was no mapping change into it. So this is the difference between now and when the car originally came into us. So number 1 and versus number 30 run. So this was before any mapping was done to it. Some big power difference. So Kieran was just road testing the car after the dyno runs and just doing some drive-bys, and then we heard a big pop. We thought it was just a boost pipe, but no, there's actually a massive hole in the boost pipe. But luckily, got a very nice pro upgrade, so be a lot better than whatever that shit is. That's what the boost pipe actually looks like out of the car. It's still rubbing against the radiator because the pipe was actually too long in the first place. But some soft as fuck eBay special. It was gonna go one way or another. Got some fresh pro hose on it now, clear of the radiator. Proper job. Race car.
Not mash it into second, woman, for fuck's sake!
I wasn't in second!
You blew it out, man! Oh, you fucking blew it out, lad, is what you done.
The Fiesta's broke, lad.
What's this still here then?
You blew it up! It's blown up, stop!
Is it though?
It's backfiring up the exhaust.
Is it? No, that's just it smashing against the exhaust, the bumper, innit? Do it again.
It's not blown up. Put that meth in. I hope it ain't actually blown up.
Mate, what else has it done? Yep, that's an engine.
So as perfect timing as ever, we have broken down in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's going to be a long walk back. We'll fucking work through the misfire.
We'll push through it. We'll somehow magic some more fuel from somewhere.
The beauty of budget builds across a field at 10 o'clock at night when it's fucking freezing.